Hello, hi. So yeah, let's start. So we'll be starting today's lecture, continuing the unit 6. So the primary, sorry, we came through presentations, and we went through Word and PowerPoint, and we talked about Paint as well about how designs are being done using Paint. And then now we are going to jump into another important point about web authoring. Okay, so here at this point we are actually not going to go very in depth about web development as per se. Okay, so the idea behind this is for us to get an idea about how a basic website is created and how these tools can be used to accomplish that task. So, we'll be discussing about three different tools in this particular module. Okay, so in this part, we'll we use either Dreamweaver or Composer. So I'll show you guys the three platforms which we are going to use, so which we can use. Okay, so one is about the first software is called Dreamweaver, which is a software which was developed by Adobe. So you can actually download this onto your Windows machine if you want, and you do get a trial version as well, where what it does is it actually gives you a let's say an easy way of creating HTML just by couple of clicks. Okay, so they do have multiple designs, plus as well as it helps you to do some basic web authoring work. Okay, as well as we have another tool called Composer. So Composer is a free tool which is known as a WYSIWYG editor. But the thing is, as you guys can see, this was last released on 2016. Okay, so the version is quite old. Okay, almost 9 years old. So here you can see some examples about how that tool is being used. Okay, so that is one tool, and the other one we are recommended is called Amaya. Okay, so this is basically an open source editor which will let you edit websites and HTML code. Okay, so you do have few different versions of this. So let me show you. So this is also designed for this. Let me try to show you how to download one. Let's say Maya is a web authoring tool, and under download, close. Let's try to find a Mac version. So this is the web version. I'll put this on the chat. Okay, so this is for the Windows version, as well as we do have a version for Mac as well. Cool. Let me try to find a distribution. Okay, Mac OS. But as you guys can see, this is also a pretty old application which was released back in 2012. Okay, so what I suggest is so you have two options. You can either download one of these applications and continue on it. Otherwise, you do have an option to basically do this using something known as VS Code. Okay, so Visual Studio Code is a code editor which actually has support for all Windows and Mac. Plus, this actually has some AI features as well, which let you handle, edit, and work with different types of codes. Okay, so for these module examples, what I'm going to do is I will be using Visual Studio Code to basically build this website, and I'll take you through the basic features of this. Okay, so we are not going to go very in depth into HTML, which will where we will be basically touching the surface on the basic points on how to edit a website and see how it works. Okay, so jumping into web authoring. Okay, so this tool, this is the Composer tool, but sadly this Composer is also very old, which was released a couple of years ago, and my current laptop does not support this type of applications because this is really old. I am actually using a latest Apple device. So anyway, we'll see how it works. Now in HTML we have few primary tags which we need to keep in mind. So first of all, when you are learning HTML, the best resource would be W3C schools. Okay, W3 schools. I'll send that on the chat as well. Okay, so W3 schools will actually gives you a clear tutorial on how HTML works. Okay, so I'm going to go a bit faster with the primary tags because we are focusing on a specific set of tags for this particular thing because we want to build a simple web page. Okay, so let's see how it works. Now I'm using Visual Studio Code, so let me close this and open it again. So I have Visual Studio Code installed, and once Visual Studio Code is loaded up, you will see something like this. Okay, here now you can actually go into this area, click on this, and you can actually open a folder. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on open folder, and on my desktop I am going to create a folder inside our ICT module. Okay, so I'm going to create a folder as, clicked on new folder, and I'm going to create a folder as unit 6 HTML. Okay, so then I will open this folder. So once the folder is opened, now you will get an empty screen. Okay, so this area is empty, plus this area is also empty because we have not selected any files to work on it. Okay, so now starting off, we need an HTML file, right? So to run the HTML, to open up the HTML file, to build the HTML, we need to have the HTML file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click on this area, and when you right click, you get this option called new file. At the same time, if you click here, you will again, you get the same option as new file. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new file called index. I just created, okay, so we created a file called index.html, and this will be the file which will contain all the HTML content. Okay, now in this file I will start building an HTML code. Okay, so let's see how it works. In basic terms, HTML needs to have a certain set of basic tags. So when you use something like a web authoring editor, you can see that it still shows the code, but in that code it will show you a view as well on the top. But what I suggest is, after being a web developer for the last almost 15 years, I highly recommend you to go forward with this type of layout because it's going to be very easy to manipulate and control the content. So let's see what we need. So in HTML, we have a certain primary 3 tags, which is an HTML tag, which we will write like this. Okay, so we create the tag as HTML, and then inside the HTML we need the second most important tag, which is the head. Okay, and then we need the third most important tag, which is going to be a body. Okay, so these three are the primary tags we need to build a website. Okay, now if I put some content here, okay, so let's say some content, and now how do you open this? It's quite easy. All you need to do is just go to your open up your folder. So here I'm going into the folder Edexcel, and this is IGCSE ICT, and I have the file here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to double click on the file, and just like that your browser will open that file. Okay, now you can see we have this content, the text we just added as some content, and that is visible, right? Perfect. So if you did the up to this extent, now we have a working website. Okay, now we need to add one more tag to complete this structure. What is it? We need a title, right? So the title tag will make sure that your page has a title which will then display on the browser. Okay, now if I refresh, okay, so we'll just make it smaller. Okay, see on the top you can see that the file name is known as index.html, right? Now since I did the change, now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to refresh the page by clicking on reload, and immediately you can see now the title got changed. Okay, now the title got changed to my first page, which is the title which we added here. Okay, perfect. So if you got this up to this extent, then that means we do have a fully functioning web page. Nice. Okay, then so these are the 5 primary tags we need. Okay, so sorry, we have 3 primary tags plus the title, which will add it up to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4 primary tags in order for us to display a page. Okay, now let's see what are the next steps we need to take. So when we go into the document preview, here this gives a small activity of creating a table. Okay, so let's see how to create a table in the HTML file we just built. Okay, so tables, how to build the table. Now in this case, this is asking us to create a table with 5 cells. So yeah, so 5 by 5 table. Okay, so that means 5 rows and 5 columns, right? So let's see how it works. So in HTML we have a tag to handle all these tables, which is known as the table tag. Okay, so quite straightforward, we use the table tag like this. Okay, now with the table tag, now we have a set of other tags which we need to add into in order to build the table layout. Okay, so let's see what are the tags. Now in a table, we know we have table rows and we have table columns, right? So a table row will be created using the tag called TR, which is a table row. Okay, and then the tags inside the table row is known as table data. Table data means TD. So now we have a table with a single row and a single cell. Okay, so let me add 5 cells to this. Okay, so I just copied and pasted the cells. Now what do we have? We have a table with a row which has 5 table cells. Okay, let's see now. Okay, now let's just try to see this on the page. Okay, so if I go to go to our browser back again, and if I refresh, we don't see anything, no? So let's try to add some data to this as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and save, and refresh, and now you can see the values are visible, right? But the cells are not, right? So that is 100% normal. That is the expected behavior of a table, okay? So when you put the table creates whatever the layout which is there, but the borders and all are not technically visible, okay? So when you want to make this visible, all you need to do is give me 1 second. Okay, all you need to do is you just have to open the data set, open the table, and here we can add a border. Okay, so in simple terms, this is known as an attribute. Okay, and this border attribute will allow you to allocate a value which is either 1 or 0. Okay, so 1, when we add 1, that means the border will get activated. Now let's see, when I refresh, just like that, you can see the borders now. See, okay, so now we know what the table is, right? Nice. Okay, so now how to add another 5 rows? Now here this is literally asking us to make a table of 5 columns and 5 cells, right? 5 rows. So in order to do this, what we do is we take the data set and we can replicate it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now when we have 5 items, now let's see how it works. So if I refresh, just like that, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, I accidentally added one more, so let's delete this and refresh. Nice, perfect. Now we have 5 rows and 5 columns, right? Perfect. Now we have the detail set to, the table set to display on the page. Now what's the next one? The next one is we have to make sure that the table width is set to 100%. Give me 1 second. Table width to set to 100%, right? So let's see how it works. Now in order to do that, let me exit that. Okay, perfect. In order to do it, what we do is to do that particular task, to make it 100%, okay, we can add the attribute as width 100, okay, width 100, and here we use the percentage to tell the browser that I want this table to span for 100%. So let's see, when I do a refresh, now we have a full table with 5 rows and 5 columns, and the table spans up to 100%, right? Perfect. No, so now we have a clear table active, right? Let's say now, okay, so now perfect, now we are halfway through. So I hope up to this extent what we did is clear. If you have any clarifications, you can obviously replay the video and check this out. But I want you to try this at home, because getting to know how to code this would be the best. So that is the table as we created. Perfect. Now let's jump back to the activity and see what's the next one. So it says format the table so that the borders will not be displayed by a web browser by setting up the border thickness to 0. See, now here the reason I kept the border thickness to 1 was that otherwise this will not be visible. Okay, so I just kept it as it is just to show you guys how it works. Now if we set this to 0 and refresh, you can see now all the borders are removed. Now what you have is a clear table with the values displayed in it. Okay, now all good. Now we are like almost 50% done, right? Then this is asking to set the cell padding and cell padding and cell spacing to 0. Okay, so what is this cell padding and cell spacing? You can actually see that. So if I enable this border again and refresh, you can see this each cell actually has a certain padding in it, right? There's a border size to that, right? So for that we can actually either set the border 0, or in this case we can actually set a style. So okay, so the style is, I'm going to put this down so that it will be clear. So the style is, we have a style called border collapse. Okay, so what happens is when you go to the border, when you add the border collapse style, automatically the border sizes will all disappear. Okay, and now we don't have any margins or spacings in the system, in the table. Super. So I'll make this 0, and then when I refresh, now we have a lean table without any paddings and spacings, right? Okay, so I'm again going to turn this on, turn it to 1, because we need the guidelines to experiment and see how this works, right? Okay, perfect. Now that is done. Now the next point is, we need to make sure, here it says, now we did this as well. Now this says merge and join the cells on the top row. Okay, so that means, technically speaking, all the cells on the top row should be a single line. As you can see here. Okay, so let's try this out. Okay, so let's try this out. So these two are not technically necessary, this cell padding and cell spacing, because if you have border collapse, the style border collapse added, then these two won't be necessary, because it does the same purpose, same thing which is required, right? Okay, so let's try to merge the tables, the cells. Okay, now here what I'm going to do is, since we are going to merge this, I'm going to remove all the columns and keep only one active. Okay, here now if I refresh, now you guys can see that okay, it got removed, but this is not yet merged, right? See, still, since this is just one column, that column is set to the first column only, and the content is not fully going throughout the length, right? So for that, what we need to do is, we just need to put something called another attribute known as col span. Okay, so this col span attribute, what it does is, it will take in a number which will then merge the number of cells. So example, like if I put 2, now you can see this cell is merged into 2 cells. If I put 3, it's going to be merged into 3. So 4 means 4, and if I put 5, that means that will go to the end. Okay, so this will create a full width merged cell. Okay, so that's how you get the merging part done. So this what we used was the term called call span. Okay, now let's see what else is being required. Now this is done. Okay, so this is what is mentioned in the create table task. Sorry. Okay, so then let's jump to the next point. So if you take a look at the code which was given to us by the book itself, you can see the code is quite similar, but since this is being generated through a software, you can see that it has generated a bit more custom styles, just to make sure that the width and the alignments, the text alignments are done. Okay, but don't worry about that. Let's add it when it is required. Okay, so so now since we have the base style with the details and the HTML, now let's jump into some features. Okay, so primarily websites needs to have a navigation feature, right? So websites should have hyperlinks, which will then let you navigate from a place to another, right? So that's the typical way of handling the connectivity through websites and web pages. So let's see how it works when it comes to an hyperlink. Okay, so in the editors, you will get something like this, where it will allow you to insert a hyperlink into a block. So let's see how it works. So now let's add a hyperlink into one of our blocks in the code. Okay, so let's say if I want to add it here, I can actually add it using the h anchor tag. Okay, so the anchor tag has an attribute called href, which you can type a text like this. So this anchor tag will allow you to create a link to the particular page like this. So this is how it's going to work out. So it's quite straightforward. Now if I click on this, what happens is I'm going to directly get into the page of Google, right? So this is creating a link. So when you click on the link, it would directly go in, right? So that's how the links works. Okay, so the syntax is href, and then you add the content of the domain, and once the content of the domain is added, then you take the value, this HTML tag, and you can put it into any location in your HTML. So now when we did this, now we got the link added, and now when you click on it, it will take you to the google.com page. Perfect. So we did almost halfway through of this structure. So then let's see what is left to add. Okay, now we have another activity. Okay, so in this activity, this is asking to add a color to the background of the page. Okay, so this is technically known as page colors. Okay, so let's see how page colors work. So In simple terms, what you need to do is you just take the HTML tag, and from the HTML tag you can actually put a color to the background. So let's try this out. Now here they are referring to the color called this particular color code FCD957. So you go here and you put a style and background color, and you set it like this. Okay, so this would, now if I refresh, now you can see the page color got changed, right? So now we have a nice yellow color page, so that we can we have a background. Don't mind the guidelines, I am still keeping this on because I want to make sure that we get the structure properly. Okay, now let's go into the book back again and see what are the points we need to cover up. Okay, give 1 second. Yeah, okay. So now we added the color as well. Now this is asking to add a banner. Okay, so let me copy the same banner. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of this. Okay, and I will add it into the file. Okay, so let's add another one. Hold on. Okay, perfect. So after dragging this up, we'll add it as logo. Okay, now we have a banner file, right? The light bulb movement. Now we can add this banner into the top area. Okay, so adding an image is quite straightforward in HTML. All you need to do is you need to use the img tag, the image tag. Okay, so for the img tag, there is a specific point you need to use an attribute known as src. Okay, so for the src attribute, now we can actually put the logos, the logo png. And now if I refresh, let's see whether this will work. Nice, it worked, right? But the problem is it's a bit large, right? Okay, so now in order to decrease the size, I'll add a width validation. Now you can see the size is decreased, right? Right, hold on. Just give me one moment. I'm having a very bad storm. Hold on, I'll just give me a minute. Hold on. Yeah, sorry, I just had to take care of something. Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, so we have the width, and yes, we set the width to the image. Now you can see that the width is actually displayed there. So what about if we put 100%? What happens? Now when I put 100%, see, now earlier if I just kept the width, just kept it as it is without defining a width, see what happened. So since the image has its own size, no, so since it has its own size, it automatically takes the entire size of the page, because because since I took that as a screenshot from the PDF file, it automatically took the entire width of that document, right? So when I put this as 100%, same thing like as we did to the table, right? Here in the table we put it as 100%. Same like that, now when I put 100%, automatically that width gets adjusted. Okay, now it's in a it's constrained to the whatever the space which we have in the website. Okay, now also there's one more thing, no? So when we keep this as 100%, if I make the page smaller, see what happens. Now if you look at this on a smaller screen, see, it automatically adjusts to the width. See, so you can change the width and see, it automatically takes the full width of whatever the available space, and it will automatically adjust. See, okay, so that's why we use this full width tag. Okay, so that's the idea behind this point. Okay, so hope you guys are following. So I hope the idea is correct. So now we added that part as well. Now see, now we have the banner, and we added the banner, as well as now the code is complete with a full width banner, so that the width is constrained. Now then that part is also done. Now let's go down and see what this next activity is. So here this is asking us to add some menu items, right? So menu items should actually take the user to few other pages, right? Now here what this says is, this is saying to add couple of hyperlinks. Hyperlinks are links, the one we just went through, right? So here what this asks us to build is, it basically asking us to create few pages called home, contact and news, right? So let's say we are currently working on the home page, then obviously we need to create another 2 pages, right? We need to create the contact page and the news page, right? So let's just first add the links, and then we'll see how we can go. So let's start by calling this as home. Okay, now here you can see the way I just added this. So when I call this as home, the link, the hyperlink, the href tag, I put it as index.html. Okay, so let's see how it works. So when I refresh, now I should see home. Now when I click on this, now you can see I'm stick to the same page, right? I'm on the same page, it doesn't change, and I'm getting redirected to the same page over and over again. So that's actually quite nice, and that's exactly what we wanted. So let me erase the rest of the content, okay, so that we can keep the tables clear. Okay, nice. So refresh. Perfect. Now you can see that the content was cleared. Still the tables are there, but since the tables does not have any content in them, it's displayed in a kind of like in a block pattern. Okay, so let's add the rest of the pages. So let's add home and contact, and I'll add a news as well. Okay, so refresh. Now you can see the menu items are visible. Okay, so let's get back to the document and see what we need to add. So it says contact and home, contact and news, right? Home, contact and news. So we just need to do a slight change. So in the document, it's only added on the middle 3 columns, right? So let's take this out and let's add it into the middle 3 columns. So let's see how it displays. Nice. Okay, so we have 2 columns on the both sides, and now we have the links created, right? Nice. Okay, now that part is also done. But I can still see a little bit of a custom issue here, right? So see, the content is actually centered in the table data, TD tags, right? So how do we center the content? Let's go up and see in the code they have. Okay, so if I jump here, you can see yes, here you can see there has been a style added from the device, from the system, called vertical align. Okay, so vertical align and a text align. Okay, so let's try to add the same style here as well. So let's add this style. So I'll add something called text center and vertical align top. Okay, so when I add this, now let's refresh and say, nice. So now the content got centered, right? Okay, so let's copy paste the same and make sure everything is centered. Now when I refresh, all items should be center aligned, and yes, when I refresh, we have everything center aligned. Nice, perfect, no? Now it displays perfectly. Okay, now let's jump back to the document and see what are the other activities we have. So going down, creating the menu, that is also done, and now we have the menu, and now we have to do one more thing. Now since these are the same pages, now when you click here, we are literally reloading the same page now. Now since we added the base of the system, let's copy paste this file. Okay, so you can click here to open the file manager, and then let's copy paste this file as so pasted. Now you right click, you change the name. So let's change this to contact, and again copy paste one and rename it to news. Okay, nice. Now since we copy pasted the different files, now we can change the href to contact and the news href to news. Okay, so now if we refresh, so we just need to make sure that we copy paste this as well, because now see, the HTML code is all duplicated now, so we just need to make sure that we copy paste the HTML changes as well. Nice. Okay, so just for the sake of testing, I'm going to add a title here. So I'll call it home, and here I'll call it contact, and the other one I'll call it news. Okay, now if I refresh, now we can see we have home, so that is the home. So when I click on contact, I should see the contact page. See, now I'm in the contact. Now if I click on news, I should get the news page. See, now it's all good, right? So we have contact, home, contact, and news. All pages are finally fully active. Nice. So we build a page. Uh, we build set of pages so far, and we linked them. So the table is so we have a table, and inside the table we have the menu items, and the menu items are now linked. Now let's see what's the next point. Okay, so when the completed page is there, we should see something like this. So let me remove the border. Now, since we have 3 files, we have to update all 3. Yeah? You can't just update one file because since we are replicating the same template. Now refresh, okay, nothing is visible. Home, contact, and news. Perfect. So now we have a clean set of links and a clean layout. Okay, nice. Okay, so let's see now, since we created the other pages, let's see what we, yeah, so let's just jump in and see the rest of the content. Okay, so now we basically build a simple website with 3 pages, and we saw how to add text, how to add images, as well as how to add links. Now let's see the rest of the items which is there, which we can add to this particular file. Okay, so these are the types of content which we can add. Okay, so primarily we have text. So text can be entered either by using the keyboard, or if you have some sort of a voice recognition software where you can talk, like you can what do you call it, dictation. So if you have a dictation software, then you can use the dictation software to enter the text as well. Okay, so it's all works in the similar way. So the text formatting can be done using different text alignment tools. There are text alignment tools such as to align the text into different points, different areas, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now we have a certain set of different text tags as well. So in simple basic terms, I will show you the type of text tags. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I just want to check if up to what extent we are going to check this. So anyway, not to worry. So I will, since we need to learn this, I will just quickly show you the different types of text tags we have. So let me show you. So when we get into this part, we can actually use a certain set of text to show the details. Okay, now here what I'll do is I will now, since this is the table, I will add a col span of 5 again to this. Okay, and let's add a text tag. So in HTML we have something known as header tags. Okay, not the head tag. These are headers, which is based on a tag called h. Okay, so if I take the h tag, the header tag, so let's say if I take the h1 and welcome to the home page. Okay, and if I refresh, yes, now we are on the news page. Now we need to go to the home. Perfect. So the h1 tag has a certain size limit to it. Okay, so you can see h1 is actually massive. It shows as a big tag, but let's try this out. So we have h1, h2, and h3. Okay, so this is just some sample content. Let's refresh and see. So can you see the difference? So this is H1, this is header 2, H2, this is H3, and this goes on until H5. Okay, so if I refresh, now you can see we have 5 different heading sizes. Okay, so this is how you add content to a website, a content header to a website. Now let's try out how to add a paragraph. Now this is text now. So if you need to add a paragraph, it's all quite straightforward and easy. The tag is P. So we add a P tag, and the P tag, so I just generated some sample content for that. So the P tag, if I now refresh, you can see on the bottom of the page, you can see the P tag. So the P tag, the paragraph tag, has its own set of styles, and this set of styles will allow you to display the content in a proper manner. Okay, so these are the typical tips and tricks when it comes to building a page. Now let's say if we want to center the text of this particular tag, we can add a style called text align and center. So if we add this part, and if I refresh, you can see now the text is centered, right? And then let's add the same to the header 2 and to header 3. Perfect. Okay, now we have a site, and let's add to header 4 and to the header 5 as well. So perfect. Now we have everything center line, and you can read the details, right? So this is the basic structure of a website text. Okay, now let's see. So these are the main text elements. Okay, now we talk about few specific points. Primarily, we talk about images and the different types of attributes which an image should have. Okay, so primarily, an image should have an attribute called an alternative text. Okay, so this is known as alt text, ALT text. So this alternative text, how it works is, if let's get to the image on the top. Yeah, perfect. So if I add ALT like this, and oops, refresh, see, nothing happened, right? But if I keep my, if something happens to this image, okay, so this is why the alternative text is added. Now you can see we have added the alternative text, the ALT value, as home page, right? Now if I remove this logo.png URL and refresh the page, okay, you might see that there is an error, right? So the browser shows a broken image on the top. See here, okay? But the thing is, now can you see the title is visible now? The alternative title is visible, right? So the idea behind the alternative title is that if something happens to an image, the title will automatically start to display. So that's how your browser will show the image. At the same time, it goes other way around as well, where now this alternative title is actually used to show SEO content as well. So when your images are actually optimized by this, read by a search engine. You guys know we have search engines such as Google and Bing. So when those search engines, when they read the file, read the web page, they used to usually optimize and save the images of that site as well, right? Okay, so let me show you an example. So if I take images.google.com, and if we go to camera lk, if I search as cameralk.com, you guys can see all of these images have been taken from camera lk. So you can see this small image in front. So as long as you can see that image, all of these images have been taken from the camera lk website, right? So if I click on one of these images, you can see this is being read and saved because of the specific tag. So see, this is the image. Okay, now if I right click and check for the alternative text, okay, so here you guys can see super zoom bridge alternative text is added to the image. So that means when Google goes through this, Google automatically gets to know that this is a camera which is coming from camera LK, and it will start to index all the images. See, all these images brings out from, sorry, it's being taken out from camera LK itself. Okay, so it's quite interesting how it works, as well as this actually makes sure that let's say systems can get indexed and proper data is actually, like, correct data is saved. Okay, so that is how the data is being saved. This is taking behind data as well. Okay, see, it's been accessing the data from multiple locations. and it's getting saved, like it's that information is technically getting saved. So that's quite interesting, right? So it's all based on that particular data set. So yes, it's not mandatory to put that. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you don't put it, but then again, when it comes to the content, to make sure the content is accurate, you need to put the ALD tags. Okay, so then since we talked about the alternative tag, then the primary point behind that is to make sure that the image details are there. Okay, so as I said, if the image is not visible, that tag is visible, as well as accessibility. So web pages can be accessed by many people with disabilities, right? So blind people, a blind person can use the website and should be able to use the website, plus they should be able to view the website and see how it works, right? So in this case, view means like they can't see it, no, but then again, the website should function, right? So the alternative text works in a different way for them, where when you use a screen reader, the screen reader will automatically open up this content, open up the content of the image, and it will use the alternative text to read what is there in the website to the person or the user who is going through it. So at this point, when this happens, automatically the user will get an idea about what he's looking at. So in that example which I showed you with the camera LK example, if or when a screen reader goes through the website, it will automatically read those images, and it will read them aloud and telling what is exactly there in the screen. Okay, so that's the fun part when it comes to this alternative tags. So I hope that point is clear. Then we have buttons as well. So we do have buttons where you can add hyperlinks to images, and you can make them act as buttons so that when users clicks on them, you can actually make some sort of an animation, and you can make sure that animation is played. Okay, so let's see how it works now. Now you might get this type of this thing. Okay, so how it works is, now here this has a animation bulb, and it's basically asking to put that animation bulb in the browser itself. So same as adding the details. Okay, so let's go to Giftly, and let's download an animation. Okay, so I'm just going to download this guy. It's asking me to create an account. Hold on. Okay, where's the file I wanted to download? Okay, found it. Let's take a different file. Let's take this one. Okay, download. Okay, save to downloads. Perfect. I got the file downloaded, and let's get it from the download files. Okay, now I'll call it as dog driving. Okay, now let's add this on the bottom. I'll put it after the p tag, right? So same as we added the img, so we use the img tag, and we have the src. So for the src, I'm going to add the dog driving, and for the alternative text, I'll set the same thing, dog driving a car. Okay, now let's see, refresh, and nice, we have image of a dog driving a car. Okay, now let's do something special. Okay, now let's say when I click on this, let's say I want to send the user to the news page. Okay, then simple as that, we can create an href tag, and under the href tag we can set the HTML page to the news. Okay, now let's see how it works. So if I refresh the page, now see the cursor changed. Now when I move the mouse over this, I can see that there is a navigation option. So now when I click on this, just like that, I'm taken to the news page, right? Okay, so that's how you create different buttons so that you can navigate from and to different pages, so that it's easy to navigate and see. Okay, so that's how you add buttons as links. So this is this activity. Okay, so then styles. So there are a certain set of styles which is available as headings and subheadings, which we already went through before. So we saw all the types of headings we have, and we saw how we can use that. Okay, so that is the easiest and the straightforward method to add the headings. So you can go up to multiple different types of headings plus addresses and formats and so on and so forth. Then we talk about alignment. So alignment is something which is being used to basically set the text to left, right, or center, right? Like as we align the text, you can use this to make the text move on different sides. So let's try this out and see. So how to do this? So here you can see, when if you are going to add this type of a text alignment, then it's going to add a certain set of styles to your code, right? So let's try this out and see. So for the speed tag, we can add a text align, and I can put it as right. So if you put it as text align right, see now this is left now. So if I refresh, it goes to the other way around. Same as if we want to center it, we can set the text align as center and refresh, it is centered. Okay, and same thing. Now let's say if I want to do something like this. Okay, now this was not centered because we need to add another part known as display block. So when we add the display block style, then automatically the content gets centered. Okay, so that's how you basically center the items and align. That's how you basically do the alignment of a system. Okay, and then we do have few. Yeah, so we did the hyperlinks. And yes, we have to do one more point when it comes to the hyperlinks. Guys, give me 1 more minute again. We are having, I'm in middle of a bad storm. I just need to, I think my power is switching off. Hold on, no? Yeah. Hi. Yeah. Sorry guys, I just had to sort out few things. It's having a bad lightning storm, that's why. So yeah, I just had to turn off everything but can start. Okay, so a few more things to cover up. So yeah, so let's go through the anchor tag changes. So here we have few features of these anchor tags, okay? So basically links. So let me show you how that works. Now let's take our dog driving car GIF, okay? Now I connected this to the news HTML. So let's change this to google.com, okay? Now when we have this in google.com, let's see what happens. Now when I click on this dog image, now since we added google.com, immediately when you click here, I've been taken to the website google.com, right? That's perfectly normal. That's the expected process, right? But we have a small problem. Now, did you notice that we are navigated away from the website? Now, when you click here, we are navigated away from our website, right? See, taken out, right? So that can be a bit of a problem when it comes to some events, right? Let's say if you don't want the user to leave your website, then you can do something like this. So inside the HTML tag, the anchor tag, okay, we can add something called a target. Okay, so by default the target is set as self. So if you take the default HTML action, it is set to as self. Okay, so self means if I click on one of the links, that means it's going to open on the same browser itself. Okay, self. If I change this, so we have couple of options. So if we change this to parent, parent, then still if we refresh this, you can see it acts the same way. But here there is a different process for this, because the parent is actually designed so that it will open this website on a parent window. Okay, in this case, in your syllabus we are not going to cover that part, because that's a bit of a complex thing where we will be using an iframe, and that iframe, we have a tag called an iframe, and when we are using iframes, we do have a system where we can use the parent to trigger an event. Okay, in this case what we will be learning is, we will be talking about, so in the parent frame, and the top is also the same, which will be using the same body, but the important point which we will be learning is, we are going to talk about the blank command. Okay, so when we do underscore blank, okay, now let's see what happens. So when I click on this, see what happened. I opened this opened up a new window. Okay, but this is still there. This window is still there, and we used to open up a new window. So this is how it works. So immediately, so I'll just close it down and show you how it works. So when I click on this, see that it is going to create a new tab on the top, right? So likewise, we can use the parent to spin up and show the pop-up in a new screen. Okay, so that means your user will not navigate out from the website. So the website will still be there, your website will be still there, but a new website will be opened on a new pop-up. Okay, so that's how we use the target. Images, we just went through this, and we got to know how it works, right? And alternative tags also I just explained and how it works. At the same time, page title also we went through it, and we got to see how the page title, how the process works with the page title, right? So these, I hope these the points are clear, okay? And then let's try out few points when it comes to the pages, okay? So let's see how it works. Now in this case, we have few tags which is known as bold, italic and underline, okay? So it's almost same process. Let's see how it works. So if we take a tag, if we take the strong tag, okay, now let's say we want to highlight this particular section of this text in bold, okay. Now let's see, here we have this text section, and let's say if we want to highlight this in bold, see how we can do this. So we can easily select this area and we can put a strong tag, okay. So when we put the strong tag, what happens is, likewise that area or the text part will be bold, okay. So that's the point, that's the reason we use the bold tag. Then let's try out the other one as well, the italic tag, the EM tag, okay. So let's see how it works. Let's italic, let's convert the next part to italic. So if I put a EM tag and if we put it like this, now refresh, and this particular area should be italics, right? Refresh, perfect. You can see it got converted as italics, okay. Now let's do another thing. Let's try out the other part, which is to underline, right? So in order to underline, we use the U tag, okay. So the U tag is visually underline, is used to visually underline a text. Okay, so I'm just going to select this one and let's add a U tag and paste, and let's see how it works. So this section should be underlined, okay. So bold, italic and underlined, strong, EM and U, okay. So these are the three different types of tags which will help you control your structure, okay. Nice, perfect. So then that's the part when it comes to the underline and the italics. So we do have few questions. Let's go through these questions and see what it is. So which one of these HTMLs used to use for a hyperlink? So we can see we use A as the hyperlink, and HLW, H and L and W, we don't have that type of text, right? Tags in the system. Then explain why image files should not be moved from the origin location once they have been added to a web page. So the idea, the reason behind this is that example is, now when we add a web page, when we add an image to a web page, what we do is we add the actual link of the image, right? So this is the link, so we call this the link, and we use the actual path of that image to show this link, right? So see, this is, so now if I remove this, now we have the logo now, but let me rename this and see. So if I rename this to just X, okay, now if we refresh, we are going to get a broken image displayed, okay. So the reason behind this is because this URL or the link is going to be broken, right? Okay, so since I renamed it back to what it was, now you can see it automatically displays the actual page, okay. So that's the next point when it comes to the URLs. Then state the use of a table in a web page. So the use of a table is to show structured content, right? So that you can use the table structure to show the content in a particular custom defined structure. Okay, and then the fourth question, state the use of animations in a web page. So here we talked about animations. So the use of animations, give me 1 second. Here, so animations. So animations will basically draw the attention of the user, right? So otherwise now the web pages are all blank, no, blank and bland details. So but still, when you add an animation, now here even in this screen, when you see this image, it automatically captures your attention, right? You tend to look at this image because then that would be hold on na. Yeah, that would capture the audience attention easily. Okay, and then let's go through the next one. And then, okay, and the fifth question, which one of these is the first file that the browser will display? Perfect question. Okay, so when it comes to browsers and loading the content, browsers always look for a file known as index.html. Okay, so browsers, they not technically only a browser, so this is part of a server system as well. So servers, they tend to look for a file called index.html. So when the web server loads up a web page, it always looks for this particular file and use that as the home file or the base file. Okay, so always remember, the index.html is the starting point of a website. So whatever the platform you are going to build, it can be either .NET, it can be PHP, Java, HTML, any sort of online language, online programming language, you need to be careful. The index.html must be, or the index.php or index.aspx and index.jsp, all these files will be the initial entry point. So everything will start loading from that particular point. Okay, and then we have the final question, state 3 types of content that can be added to a web page. So primarily we have text, and then we have images, and then we have videos and audio files, as well as we can have embedded items. So example is now, I'll show you one more example. So let's say if I go to a YouTube video, okay, so if I go to YouTube and let's take this video, okay, and we click on share, and when you click on share, you have the option called embed. Okay, so you can click on embed, and here now this gives you a code. So you copy the code and you can come back to our HTML and we can put this here. So let me call span file. Okay, let me put this code here so that you can see how it works. Okay, so I just copied and pasted the embed code which was given by YouTube. Okay, now if you go to our website and refresh, you can see the YouTube video down here. So let's center it. Okay, I'll add a small margin padding on top as well, just to make it look nice. And see, we have the video. So that's how these videos and structures are made. Okay, so you can have content, you can have images, you can have videos, you can have embedded content, as well as you can have text and links. Okay, so all these factors can be added when it comes to a web page. Okay, so I hope you understood the point, and if there's any questions, please send me a message, and I will have to stop the class right now, guys. I'm actually in middle of a very bad storm, so I just turned off everything, and we'll catch back again, and from I think next week I will be doing couple of classes, because we have to cover up about two or three more classes. So anyway, I will be doing that, and the recordings will be uploaded as well, so that you can follow it up and go through it. So yeah, Sirini, any questions so far?
Understood.
Okay, so I'll ping you up back. So just having a bad thunderstorm. It's not raining, but it's thundering very bad. How about your side? Is it raining as well?
Also not very sir.
Sorry?
Same, sir.
It is. Ah, okay. For me, it's actually having a very, I'm not sure whether this will get sorted out. So yeah, so we'll wrap it up at this point, and then let's jump back. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. See you then. Catch you later. Bye.
Yes. Take care.